Hello and welcome to everyone that's tuned in to the American Ultra Stock channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. In our video today, we have a very special guest. We got Eddy Davis III. Let me know which way do you like to be referred to, Eddy. Thank you so much for being here. Eddy's a product of the Philadelphia Union Academy. As some of you guys may know, we try to cover the MLS Next Pro and GA Cup, all of the youth competitions, try to shine a light on the players that will be the future of our country, really. So straight to you, Eddy. I'd like to just ask if you could introduce your story so far, the journey. How has it been? So just an introduction to our subscribers.
Yeah, sounds good. What's up, guys? Eddy Davis, as I mentioned, play for the Union. Originally from LA, born and raised, play there at LAFC's academy for a bit and local club around there. And then got the opportunity to join Red Bulls on my 15th birthday, moved by myself across to the East Coast, which was a crazy big decision for me and my family. And then after a year at Red Bulls, we decided that it was best to go join Philadelphia Union, one of the arguably the best academy in the country, and it's been the best decision so far of my career. So that's just a bit to start about who I am. That's kind of my background. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, just a little bit, if you could elaborate on that. That's such a crazy move. I don't think that many people, we're going to start getting used to those stories of people having to move across to seek better opportunities. I would say that you have a big supporter here on Braden to argue that the Philadelphia Union Academy is the best. He's a Philly fan, and as a neutral, I would say that it's honestly no one should have an argument against that. I'd just like to ask you, when you were in LA and you moved to New York, what prepared you for that move, and why New York Red Bulls at first? How did the opportunity come about?
Yeah, so at that point, I was 12 playing for LAFC. It was the inaugural year, and I ended up getting released due to injuries and many stuff like that, and I quit soccer for about a year and a half or so, and I started playing club again, just trying to gain confidence, and I was just playing for my local club team, and an agent came and watched me play. And he liked my game a lot, and we stayed in contact and whatnot, and then ended up having a great season, and he put me in contact with Red Bulls. Red Bulls liked my film, and they wanted me to come out immediately. But, I mean, I guess I'd say what got me prepared for it was just soccer was my passion. You know, like I quit the game for about a year and a half, but I had so much love for the game that I didn't want to give it up. So got back into it, and just the passion drove me. I have a great family support system. So, I mean, it was tough with them not being there with me for the first about 3 months, but you know, you get used to it, and just, yeah, soccer's my life. So, yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine that must be a really tough decision. And just a year later, like you said, making the choice to leave Red Bulls and go to the Union. I just want to know what led to that decision. Did you have other interests from other MLS academies? And did the fact that you'd get to play with other kids from California, like David Vasquez and Diego Rocio, did that influence your decision at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say probably just because I was with Red Bull too. I was 15 at the time. I was going to debut USL Championship. I would have been the youngest at that point, but it wasn't really about that. But just like the track record that the Union has, it's close with a couple other clubs, but just the development that I see there, I was like, it's kind of a clear option for me. I had a bunch of other offers after my first season, but the Union was a clear choice for me. And I played with David Vasquez ever since we were like probably 7, 8 years old. We were competing against each other, LAFC, TFA. We'd always go back and forth growing up. So that was pretty cool joining him. And I didn't know Diego before, but he's a Cali boy. So that's awesome. We kind of had like a little Cali connection when we were on the field, U17 year.
Nice. And you made your debut in July, correct?
Yeah.
I'm playing a big role for Philadelphia Union too. That must be amazing for you. I would just like to ask on the few things, if you have seen anything that really changes when you go up a level like that, transitioning to the pro level. What are the biggest things you have to adjust to?
No, of course. And playing with the Union, we're all pretty gifted kids, but I'd say that the physicality of going from U17 to next pro is probably the biggest thing, because I'm typically a faster player. My game is built on athleticism, but I learned that pretty much everyone is athletic as you get older, and everyone's about the same athleticism as you. So just learning how to be smarter than your center back. And I'm not a hold up type 9. Like, I like having space to do what I like to do. So just figuring out ways to score goals and not having to rely on my athleticism has been probably the biggest change, I'd say, because U17 was a lot of breakaway goals, one-on-one with the goalkeepers. and I haven't scored one like that. Like they've all been just poachers goals in the box. So that's probably been the biggest, I'd say, difference from U17 to next pro is just the physicality and learning how to score different types of goals as a 9.
Yeah, and speaking about differences in levels, you went on trial at Schalke back in January. Could you speak to how that experience came about for you first off, and kind of walk us through how that went for you?
Yeah, so I had a very good U17 season. I think I had 19 or 20 goals, and a bunch of clubs were reaching out to me, and Schalke was one of them. We're talking to my agent about that, and I wanted to just test the level, see how I would do against Bundesliga level. Obviously, being in America my whole life, never going abroad. And my agent, we set it up before the preseason started, and it was honestly like the time of a lifetime out there. Seeing like Schalke, like it's like a religion out there in Europe. Like football is their love and joy for the game is unreal. And just seeing that I could play at that level and actually got great feedback from the coaches, it was surreal and super, super honored for that. Super, super honored. It was dope.
Yeah, I can only imagine having gotten the news to go over to Germany. That's what every kid dreams of. And on that, you've had a really, really long journey so far, going to all these places that have great reputation. Now you're one of, if not the best academy in the U.S. I'd like to ask you, so far in your career, I know there's a lot of things to come. What can you pinpoint to as being your biggest accomplishment so far?
I'd say probably winning GA Cup with the U17s last year. That was such an incredible stretch we went on. I forgot the team. We beat Remo Stars, Palmeiras. We had such a tough journey to get there. And then leading up to that, we just had such a good group. And that was probably my biggest accomplishment, just helping the team win and playing my role in that team. That was honestly surreal.
Yeah, and talking more about your accomplishments, like you mentioned, won GA Cup last year, and then recently you actually won back-to-back MLS Next Pro Rising Star of the Month awards. So congratulations for that, first off. But what do those achievements mean to you, and how do they help you progress further in your game?
Yeah, I mean, it's always cool to get an award like that at the end of it. At the end of the day, it's just an award, and it just shows that my work. I just got to keep going. It's honestly just the beginning. It's just Rising Star. Like, I want to shoot for actual player of the match week, actual player of the month. Like, it's just Rising Star. But, it's cool to be recognized, and I just got to keep doing what I'm doing. I have a big role with the Union 2 as a striker now, so I just got to keep working on and scoring goals and helping the team win. That's honestly what I'm here to do. So the awards will come. I just got to keep putting in the work.
Definitely. We'll definitely be cheering for you as well. And along this journey that you have gone to different places, new coaches, now playing at the pro level, and you have a great family of great athletes as well. What has been the best piece of advice that you were given? Was it something to adjust to a game or something personal? What was that one advice that you think always stays in the back of your mind?
Yeah, obviously, I mean, some of the viewers might not know, but both of my parents ran in the Olympics. My dad's a gold medalist. My grandpa was MLB manager. So probably the best piece of advice, man, I don't know. I'd probably just say consistency in all aspects of your life will translate to the pitch. Just like having a routine and, sticking to my routine. That's kind of where I get my confidence, like waking up 5:30 in the morning, doing my cold shower, all those things before I get onto the pitch, doing my stretching routine, all of that sort of builds confidence. And that's kind of where my confidence has come from so far this season. It hasn't really been what you see on the field. It's everything that happens off the field that translates to what happens on the field. So I'd say that's the biggest piece of advice my parents have given me, is focus on all the off-field stuff if the on-field stuff isn't going right, and you'll see progress come to fruition.
And quickly, as a follow-up to that, could you walk us through a normal day in the life for you as a professional footballer now?
Yeah. So I'd say wake up around 5:30, do my whole morning routine, try and get out of the house by around 6:15 to 6:30 to get to the stadium by around 7. We don't start our team meetings at around 8:30. So I just do all my pre-activation work, stretching, mobility, all I need to do. Training from around 8:45 to 10:30. And then we have school. We can go across the street to our school at YSC from 11 to 3:25. Sometimes I'll do stuff after, just depends on how the body's feeling. So we're mid-season, don't want to overload, but then get home around 4:30-ish and then start homework and watching whatever football matches are on.
You've had the pretty big advantage, I would say, of being able to play with a lot of great up and coming players at all sorts of levels, and they've all taken different paths. To use some examples for the viewers, Daniel Kruger, your teammate at the GA Cup team, ended up going to college, I believe at Wake Forest. He's playing pretty well there. Three of your teammates at Union 2 actually just signed homegrown deals with the Union: David Vasquez, Andrew Rick, and Calvin Sullivan. Of course, Nate Worth, who you played at with the Red Bulls Academy, ended up choosing to go to USL, played for two different teams there so far. And then Devin Decourt, also from the GA Cup team, ended up going to Europe via Anderlecht. So I was just wondering, is there any one pathway that's a specific goal for yours, or anything that you aspire to be? And if there's anything that you can't say, feel free to leave it out. We don't want you to get you in trouble with your agent or club or anything.
Yeah, no, of course. I'd say that there isn't one pathway. I'd say my pathway has just been patience and slow progression. And my goal is to ultimately play in Europe. So me and my team, my family, my agent, we're taking the right steps to get to whatever, my set goal is to be playing in Europe. But I don't think there is a right way to get there. Everyone's path to get there is different. Like, you can look at everyone who's playing there, all the Americans, they've all taken a different route. Like, even going to college, like, it's still a possibility. So I don't think there is a right way, but for me, I'm just staying patient, keeping my options open for when the opportunity arises.
Yeah, definitely. And talking about all these pathways and ways that you can get there, and as you mentioned, there are many different routes that you can take. But if you had to give a little prediction or your dream in 5 years from now, where would you see yourself if you could choose?
In 5 years from now, I'd hope to be playing probably in like a, top 5 European league, if that's like Bundesliga or somewhere in the Netherlands or Belgium, something like that. I would just want to be playing European football. That's been my dream since I was 5. So wherever that is, not like a random country, but, like a good country where I'm going to keep developing and keep progressing my play. That's my dream, to be 5 years. I'd be 22. So not to be in my prime yet, but progressing to be in my prime in a lower country and building my way up still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and following up on that, is there a particular dream league or dream club that if you had everything went your way and you had your say on whatever club or whatever league you ended up playing in, would there be one in particular?
Yeah, I've grown up watching the Prem and just being a huge fan of the Prem. I love Arsenal, so to like live and play in Arsenal, that would be surreal. So just striving for that. It's just a dream, but put my head down and work for it.
Yeah, just before we left, I just wanted to mention, you just touched the base on the club that you grew up watching. I also grew up liking Arsenal a lot. Just like to ask you a little bit of a quick fire round of questions right here. Favorite player, Eddy?
Favorite player of all time or on Arsenal?
Growing up. Okay, not the best.
Yeah.
Player.
Probably my favorite player would be Thierry Henry. Someone who I idolize my game off of would be Henry, for sure.
All right. Best goal that you've scored so far, if you can describe it to us.
Best goal, free kick in GA Cup versus Minnesota United. It was about 30 yards out. I don't know how I scored it. Probably the best goal I'll ever score. It was a banger.
All right. And finally, when do you think, across your journey, do you think that there will be a moment, and at what age do you think you can represent the USMNT, hopefully?
I hope it's coming soon. I just got to keep putting in performances, but I'd love to represent on a World Cup stage or Olympic stage like my parents did. So that would be awesome. Hopefully by around 24, I'm there. So that's the dream, working for that.
All right, I was just going to ask you as a quick follow-up to that. I know you've had a lot of good performances recently. Have you been in contact with anyone from USSF or the U.S. Youth National Team? Because we know there's a U20 CONCACAF championship coming up. There's a lot of competition for spots, especially at striker. But I think given your performances, you could probably realistically be on the radar. So has there been anyone that you've been keeping in contact with or that's reached out to you from there?
Yeah, there's a couple people who have been talking on my behalf, and they tell me that I'm in the mix of the top strikers. So I just got to keep putting my performances. I know that the youth, it doesn't really matter until it gets to, the men's national team. So I don't want to be pissed about not making a selection right now, U17, U19, U20. I just want to strive, and hopefully I'm wearing the men's national team jersey one day.
Nice. Yeah, we'll definitely be cheering you on along your journey, Eddie. We want to thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview with us. And thank you so much for everyone who's watched this far. Please make sure to leave your socials down below in the description. Please make sure to give Eddie a follow. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a comment down below. Any questions you have for him, we'll try to reach out and comment down below. And what you thought so far of the interview. If you enjoyed this format, we want to thank you so much again, Eddie. And Braden, do you want to do the honors and do the closing?
Yeah, Eddie, real quick, if there's anything you want to shout out.
No, nothing. I'm good. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. It's been fun.
Of course. Yeah, thanks for coming on. Our first ever player interview, hopefully the first of many. And maybe in a year's time, you can come back on the channel and we'll see how you've progressed from there. But until then, thank you everyone for watching. Thanks again, Eddie, for coming on, and we'll see you guys next time.